This one I want to share. All right, so this isn't like groundbreaking or like a news flash or anything like that you just absolutely have to know, or something you actually don't know. But I ran across it and it pissed me off. Again, it hits close to home because obviously I think most of us have elderly people in our lives. If not our own parents, grandparents, or whatnot, somebody. I still have one of my grandmothers, and honestly, she's fallen victim to some scams. And we're going to look at this real quick. We won't go into the super depths of it, but again, I just want to point this out because a couple things. One, they're getting craftier. Two, we're getting into the holiday seasons. People are doing more online shopping. So there's so many more ways to get screwed over. I think it's worth mentioning. So I'm going to read through it real quick. This is from CNBC and take that for what it is. But it is a good article. I think number of older adults who lost $100,000 or more to fraud has tripled since 2020, FTC says. Key points: the number of Americans age 60 and older who lose $100,000 or more to fraud each year has more than tripled since 2020, according to the Federal Trade Commission. We just kind of read that, didn't we, in the headline? Older adults most commonly lose such large sums of money to investment scams like those involving cryptocurrency, as well as romance and imposter scams, the FTC said. It sounds like FTC saying all this stuff. There are three big red flags for consumers to know: social isolation, a sense of urgency, and unusual payment methods, experts say. So not the FTC on that one. So I work in IT, and some of the people that I work with are older. I won't say elderly. You know, they're not past retirement age, but they're not IT people. They're not really computer people, but we have to use computers for our day-to-day business. This is a good point right here. I don't know about the social isolation part necessarily, but the sense of urgency or the unusual payment methods, those are both very, very true. A lot of times it'll say like, hey, you know, I need a Target gift card so you can pay us this debt that you owe us. Well, that doesn't make any sense to probably most of you guys watching this. But to the right person, they don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? And then the sense of urgency: do this now, or something bad is going to happen to your account, or you're going to lose this, or your computer's going to do that. Got a story for you. Again, it has to do with my grandmother. I'll share for you here in just a minute. But looking at the article, it says, I'm not going to read the same freaking line over again. They have this in here 3 times. There it is. You've read it. Okay. A trend that experts say represents a grave and growing threat to older adults' financial security. In 2023, about 4,600 adults aged 60 and older reported being defrauded of a 6-figure sum, according to a report to FTC issued in October. That's up from about 1,300 in 2020. I feel like that's saying the same thing as that one, just in a different way. Again, CNBC or whatever. Such thefts can be especially devastating to older adults who have less opportunity to earn back what they've lost, greatly impacting their quality of life in old age, experts say. It is life-altering, said so-and-so, Vice President of Public Policy, Telecommunications, and Fraud at the National Consumer League, a consumer advocacy group. Aside from the financial blow, victims also bear the emotional trauma of knowing they have to live rest of their life in poverty. Live the rest of their life in poverty. Get it together, guys. Common scams targeting older Americans. Consumers overall lost $10 billion in scams in 2023, a record high, according to the FTC. The figure is also $1 billion more than fraud loss reported in 2022, despite the number of fraud reports being roughly the same at about 2.6 million. Scammers are really getting more sophisticated, better at what they do, and the technology they're using seems to allow them to target victims with ever more precision. That's kind of what I was saying earlier, right? That's why I'm wanting to bring the story up. I was thinking I saw in here specifically. Here we go. Here's our 3 common red flags. I just kind of want to go over this real quick. We won't spend long on the story, but again, I thought it was worth mentioning because of kind of getting into the holiday season, right? 3 common red flags we'd all like to believe we could spot an online scam a mile away, the National Council of Aging wrote this year, but the truth is that con artists and cyber criminals are getting craftier and more sophisticated by the day. That said, would-be victims can protect themselves by recognizing 3 common tactics used by scammers. Sense of urgency. Criminals often try to create a heightened state of emotional urgency. The psychological tactic pushes victims to act impulsively, rushing them into making decisions or providing sensitive information without thinking. Fraudsters may say an offer is good for a limited time only, the product is about to run out, or that you must make a payment immediately to prevent negative consequences. And that was what I was saying earlier, and I'll get back to that in a moment with my story. Social isolation. Scammers try to prevent consumers from talking to a third party. For example, they may say, don't tell anyone about this. Don't go to the cops. This is an investment no one knows about, so don't tell anyone about this. It's our little secret. If you're unsure about the person you're talking to or what you're being told, ask a friend or family member for advice before taking any further steps. Seeing a quick screenshot or of a text or simply walking through the scenario with someone you trust can often help you see things more clearly. Unusual ways to pay. Criminals often ask victims to make a payment by buying gift cards, like I was saying. Seeing a wire transfer going to a Bitcoin ATM, or sending money through peer-to-peer transactions on platforms like, I don't know, is that Zelle, or Venmo, for example. Consumers generally don't have recourse to be refunded money in such circumstances, he said. While there are legitimate uses for such payment methods, they often appear unusual in the context of a fraud. For example, why would a loved one who claims to need cash ask you to send money via a Bitcoin ATM? When do you buy products online? When you do buy products online, make sure you only use a payment option that offers reimbursement or authorized payment, such as most major credit cards. Using a form of direct payment, such as a payment app, is essentially the same as sending cash. You may not be able to receive a refund. At my job, we run tests on people. We send phishing emails out there to people, and they do fail them from time to time. Then they've got to take a training course, and they hate doing that. So it really heightens the senses and goes, okay, let me be ready for these. My grandmother doesn't get test phishing emails or anything like that on a regular basis, and the elderly people in your life probably don't either. So when they get them, they may not know how to react. So I am the IT guy in the family. I built my grandmother's computer. I put Windows on it. I put every program on there that she has. I made it exactly for what she needed it for, and it works smoothly. Well, she's going to websites, and one day something pops up saying, your computer is going to shut down if you don't call this 1-800 number right away. She calls a 1-800 number. She talks to some dude, Jeff or something like that, and he wants to remote into the computer. Well, Lord bless her. She does everything he says. He gets into her computer and plays around on there and whatnot. Here's the thing. I had just built this computer not that long ago. She doesn't do anything online anyway with any kind of cards, so she didn't lose anything. Nothing was at risk. She didn't have any private personal information out there or anything like that. So I think we really dodged a bullet. And like my cousins or anybody else that may have, stopped by from time to time and done some shopping or whatever, I don't know. I don't think they had anything on there yet. So I think we were all in the clear as far as that goes. I haven't heard anybody say anything, of course, and this has been a little while. But again, I didn't scold my grandmother because she is my grandmother. I love her. But I did tell her, I said, Grandma, this computer is not going to blow up. It's not going to shut down. Nothing bad is going to happen that I can't fix. Okay. I am Microsoft. I am Bill Gates. I am the AT&T guy. I am whatever you need me to be. You call me. Don't call anyone else. Okay. So I think now we've got that driven home and hopefully we'll avoid situations like there. But guys, I feel like a couple of things. It's happening more and more frequently. They're getting, as the article said, more and more clever. Again, with me working in IT, I see it. Older people don't know how to do all this stuff because older people today aren't even all that familiar and used to computers. They've recently learned how to use them over the last probably 10, 15 years just to send emails and pull up recipes or crochet patterns or, whatever. Now some are more fluid in it. That's cool. I'm not judging anybody. But I'd say most aren't because they didn't grow up with them. We we may have grown up with them at different points in our life, be significantly more familiar with them. And it kind of makes me wonder, by the time we get older, what are the scams going to look like for us? What are they going to come at us with? So, I'm kind of thinking of like paying it forward, right? Take care of our elderly today, so hopefully our youth will take care of us later on when we run into stuff like this. So, hoping that I don't know, with the FTC or whoever, somebody can do a better job of monitoring this and taking care of this, because really, truly, the elderly are the biggest victims. I don't want to say kids, because kids don't have a lot to lose. They don't, have a lot of finances that they're putting through, on websites and stuff like that. And maybe some do. But if they were to lose something, they could earn it again. But, a 70, 80-year-old person's not going to go out and make more money this weekend to recover what they lost. It's not going to happen. So, so again, to you all watching this, I would say definitely, check in on your elderly folks and maybe just touch base with them about this. The link for this will be in the show notes below if you want to check it out. And you can talk to them about it. And I mean, it may sound a little, I get it. It may sound a little cheesy or like, Chris, it's kind of boring. I don't feel like doing this. But I mean, 30 minutes to an hour spending time with a loved one, sharing this kind of information and just, and just enjoying the time together. That 30 minutes, an hour, just hanging out could save them tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially. And, keep them from having to become financially dependent on you or someone else. So I don't know, it's worth 30 minutes to an hour to me to hang out with somebody. And plus I enjoy time with my grandmother for sure. I love that woman. But guys, links in the show notes below. Use it for whatever you will.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.